Commander Zalthor's three eyes blinked in sequence as he reviewed the intelligence reports flooding his neural interface. The humans had responded to the Craxian Empire's declaration of war with what their translators could only render as, finally, some action. This was not the response the Craxian War Council had anticipated. For 300 cycles, the Craxian Empire had conquered 17 star systems without significant resistance. Their military doctrine was precise, their technology superior, their warriors bred specifically for combat. When their scout ships detected the human homeworld, a backwater planet called Earth orbiting an unremarkable yellow star, the conquest seemed inevitable. Standard protocol, issue declaration, demand surrender, begin orbital bombardment if refused. The humans had refused, but they hadn't cowered. They hadn't begged. They had laughed. "Sir," his communications officer chittered nervously, "the humans are broadcasting something on all frequencies." "It appears to be music?" Zalthor listened to the translated lyrics pounding through the bridge speakers. Something about thunder, lightning, and being thunderstruck. The humans were playing war songs. Zalthor's mandibles clicked in what his species considered a gesture of concern. The first wave of Craxian warships entered Earth's orbital space with textbook precision. 50 dreadnoughts, each capable of glassing a continent. They had barely achieved formation when the counterattack began. It wasn't what Zalthor expected. There were no massive defense platforms, no moon-sized battle stations. Instead, thousands of small craft swarmed from Earth's surface and from hidden positions throughout the system. They moved erratically, unpredictably, breaking every tactical doctrine Zalthor had studied. "Evasive maneuvers," he barked, but it was too late. The human craft weren't just attacking, they were playing. Zalthor watched in horror as one human pilot flew his tiny fighter through the gap between two Craxian dreadnoughts, close enough that their shields interfered with each other. The pilot then barrel-rolled while somehow still maintaining weapons lock, destroying both ships' primary generators with surgical precision. Over the comm channel, Zalthor heard the pilot whooping with joy. "Did you see that?" "Jenkins, I totally called that shot." Another human voice responded. Yeah, Rodriguez. But can you do a split S at full burn? Watch this." They were showing off. In the middle of a battle for their planet's survival, the humans were competing with each other for style points. Within the first engagement, the Craxian fleet lost 12 ships. Zalthor retreated to regroup, his confidence shaken but not broken. The humans had been lucky. His forces would adapt. They didn't get the chance. The humans didn't wait for a second wave. They attacked. Battle groups comprised of vessels that looked like they'd been cobbled together from scrap metal, and salvaged parts jumped into Craxian-controlled space. Their tactics made no sense. Individual captains seemed to operate independently, coordinating through nothing but apparent chaos. One human ship, designated "consequences of my actions" in their bizarre naming convention, charged directly at a Craxian battle station. Every tactical computer predicted its destruction. Instead, the ship released a cloud of what appeared to be metallic chaff, used the station's own point defense lasers to superheat it into a blinding electromagnetic pulse, then flew through the disrupted defenses and delivered a payload of kinetic penetrators directly into the station's reactor core. As the station exploded, Zalthor intercepted the human captain's transmission to his crew. "Gentlemen, I believe that's what we call a pro-gamer move." Zalthor didn't understand the reference, but he understood the implication. These humans weren't just fighting. They were enjoying it. The War Council convened an emergency session. Intelligence reports had finally arrived detailing Earth's history. What they revealed chilled Zalthor's chitinous exoskeleton. Humans didn't have a military caste. They didn't breed warriors. Every single human was a potential combatant, and their entire civilization had spent millennia perfecting the art of killing each other. They had waged wars over resources, ideology, religion, territory, and sometimes for no apparent reason at all. They had split atoms not for power but to create weapons. They had militarized orbital space before they'd even colonized their own moon. One report included a human saying that particularly disturbed Zalthor. "We are the only species that invented recreational warfare. We call them war games and our children play them for fun." The humans had been training for interstellar war their entire existence, against themselves. By the third planetary cycle, the Craxian Empire was in full retreat. Human forces had captured 6 colonial outposts and were using them as forward operating bases to push deeper into Craxian territory. They weren't just defending anymore. They were conquering, and worse, they were still treating it like sport. Zalthor found himself aboard the last functioning command carrier, surrounded by the remnants of what had been the galaxy's most feared armada. His communications officer interrupted his despair with a trembling voice. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission from the human fleet commander. Admiral Chen requests a conversation." The holographic display flickered to life, revealing a human female with gray-streaked hair and eyes that held entirely too much amusement for someone who'd just won a war. "Commander Zalthor," Admiral Chen began, her translator rendering her tone as almost friendly, "my government has authorized me to discuss terms. We're prepared to accept your surrender." Zalthor's pride warred with his survival instinct. "Survival 1. What are your terms?" Chen smiled, and it was the smile of a predator who'd just finished playing with her food. "Full withdrawal from all occupied territories. Reparations for damages. And one more thing." She leaned forward. "Your military schematics, tactical databases, and training protocols. All of it." "Why?" Zalthor asked, though he suspected he knew. "Because," Admiral Chen said, her smile widening, "you guys were a good warm-up, but we've detected 17 other spacefaring civilizations in this galactic arm, and we're going to need to be ready when we meet them." She paused, then added almost as an afterthought, "Don't worry, though. We'll probably leave you alone now. You helped us shake off the rust. Consider yourselves our practice run." As the transmission ended, Zalthor slumped in his command chair. The Craxian Empire had declared war on humanity. The humans had called it practice, and somewhere in the depths of space, 17 other civilizations went about their business, completely unaware that humanity had just finished their training exercises and was about to introduce themselves to the galaxy. Zalthor activated his surrender protocols and whispered a prayer. For those 17 civilizations, they were going to need it.